Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar. And here's a brand new Halacha for you, and it's for Wednesday, 10th day of March. Here we go. Okay, so at your Seder, you're going to have bitter herbs. Okay, now here are the two most commonly recommended bitter herbs that I'm going to tell you that you should use. Number one would be horseradish. Now when I say horseradish, you cannot use the horseradish that comes out of the jars. That jarred horseradish, that pre-prepared horseradish, has sugar in it and vinegar and food coloring and whatever, and that's not what you're supposed to do. If you're going to have horseradish, you have to have real horseradish straight from the horseradish, not from the jar that has sugar and additives in it. Now if you're going to do that, straight horseradish is very, very hard to eat, and some people say that it's not even all that recommended that you do your bitter herbs eating out of real horseradish because the taste is past bitter. It's like fiery, you know, it's like red hots. So if you still want to do that, what you could do, and this is allowed, some people grind it up before the Seder. After it's ground up, it's going to make your eyes tear and everything when you grind it, but then you spread it out over a plate, and then for a few hours as it sits there ground up on top of a plate just open to the open air, it loses some of its super sharp taste, and then it just tastes like regular horseradish without the sugar and vinegar and everything. That's one way to do it. That, according to a lot of rabbis, is an acceptable way to do it. And but you have to do the grinding before, in preparation before the Yom Tov begins. Okay, that's way number one. If you're going to do that, you would have to have about 1.1 fluid ounces of that. That's like about a third, a little more than a third of one of those bathroom cups of that. That's pretty hard to eat, so I don't necessarily recommend that you go that way. The other way is romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce is very easy to eat. You do have to have a large amount of it to fulfill the requirement, like sort of, oh, I don't know, enough to cover an area of like more than a regular sheet of paper. A little more than that. So maybe I would call that roughly like two big leaves of romaine lettuce, and that's much, much easier to eat. The thing is though that romaine lettuce has little bugs in it, and we're not allowed to swallow bugs. It's a law in the Torah that you're not allowed to do it even if they're dead. And therefore, if you are going to use romaine lettuce, you should wash them very carefully before Yom Tov. Some people just use a little bit of soap and water and then rinse them afterwards, and that'll get all of it off. And then look at it under very bright light and make sure that you see no little bugs on it. It's gross, and it's also against the Jewish law to eat them. So that's the easier way to do it. It's much easier to eat, but just be very careful to clean it properly so that there's no bugs on it. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.